Hello all, welcome back to Xamarin Tech Talks. Hope everyone are doing good. So today we are going to start with a new concept and we are dealing with one particular concept in Xamarin Forms, which is custom control. So what is this custom control? So in order to have a same kind of behavior that we want to achieve in iOS or Android or even in Windows, cross-platform mobile application. So then we need one kind of control that can be behaving the same way, looking in the same way, and performing in the same way. So for that we need to have one kind of custom control. So this custom control can be created for a same behavior, or if our application is having a specific UX where I just need to create some kind of custom controls to achieve that particular UX, then also we can just go with a custom control. So let's just get started. So our agenda is creating custom control using bindable properties in Xamarin Forms. So first we'll see what is bindable property. Bindable property, basically it creates a property system for any field in order to achieve binding. Let's just say a small example, we are using label element in our Xamarin Forms. So we are creating a label control. So if I want to provide some text, I'll be using a text property. So that text property is one kind of bindable property where it can be binded with any kind of property that is coming from a view model. So I can directly bind that property to this text property. So this particular binding is achieved through a bindable property. So you can see a lot of fields that are there in every particular control. Those are all bindable properties. So let's just get started on creating a custom control. And today we are creating a stepper control with a custom behavior and custom look and feel. So I'm just going with a forms application. So I'm making it as sample stepper. Let's just create this. So we got our basic Xamarin Forms template got created, and we'll just create a new content view. So this content view can be called as a custom control creating template, or else if in web terminologies we have user control. So the same way we can use this content view. By just creating once, I can just use this content view in across multiple content pages. So I'm just going to create a new file and I'm choosing forms and content view. We got two types. One is we can derive through C# code, or we can derive through a XAML code. So I'm just creating it as a stepper control. So we got our content view created, and if our custom control has any images bounded to that, or if we are using any images, then it would be good if we can have that particular images specified in individual platform. So as we are dealing with a stepper, I need a plus and minus symbol. So I'm just going to add those images to my Android and iOS project. So in Android also I'm just going with the same images. So let's just start it with creating that particular look and feel. So I'm going to use a grid, and I'm having 3 columns under that grid. Column definition, width, I'm using it as 15%, and the middle one I'm just using this as 25%, and the other one I'm using it as 15%. So this is custom, you can just define for yourself, and we'll just create the specific buttons. So I'm just going with a button, and for that button one button is a minus symbol, so minus.png, and I'm not going to specify any kind of width and height request, so it's just like a small button. So this would be column 1, column 0, and the other one button is add. So in between that I'll be having, if you want your custom control to even accept the values on the entry field, you can just go with an entry field. Otherwise you can just go with the label field. So here I'm going with the label field, and the text, let's just have like this right now. So we'll just create some kind of binding logic here, and so will be dealt here, and the grid column would be 1. So, and the text, horizontal text alignment would be center. So this is a basic simple screen that we are creating here, and now we'll just create some kind of backend logic for this. So where we are creating all the bindable properties. So we are creating 2 bindable properties. One is accepting the value, which would be the incremented value, and the second one is I want to have maximum value limitation for my control, so I can have that. Even in your application you can just even create a minimum constraint also. So for that I am just going to create 2 bindable properties. So let's just create a public static read only bindable property, and I am just naming it as numeric property. Now bindable property dot create is a specific a method that we'll be using, and so whatever may be the property name that we define here, and what is the type of this particular bindable property. So the type would be our content view itself, and what is the default value, or sorry, what is the type of this value. So type of, and this would be double. So the order is like this. First would be the type and the second would be the parent placeholder. And what would be the default value? So the default value will be 0. And so you can just specify even the binding mode also. So I'm just specifying binding mode as a two-way. And here we need one specific event where we need to capture that particular any kind of changes happening to that particular property. So for that we are going with property changed event. So we'll be writing that particular event right away now. So this is one property and I'm just going to copy and paste the same thing. And this would be max value. And the rest of the things are very same. Now we'll create the property. So it would be double and is quantity or is numeric, and it would be the same property that we use. So double, the type will be double, and get value of this bindable property. And here we are specifying the set value of the bindable property, comma, and whatever may be the value that we get here. And we use the same kind of thing for max value also. Max value. And we use this property here. For max value we are using here, and for is numeric we are using here. Now we'll write the property changed method. So it would be private static, and as it's kind of void, and numeric value changed. So this naming is also your interest, and it accepts three parameters. One is bindable object, which is an object, or else we'll name it as bindable, and the other one are object old value, and the other one is object new value. So we just copy the same thing and we'll use max value changed. So in order to read the names, so first we need to create the names of this controls. So button minus and button plus, and we'll even name this numeric label. So, and we'll create events for this. Clicked event. So we are having void button minus underscore clicked. So it would be the same object O and the event args E. So we'll just copy the same button plus. So we'll use these method events here. We'll copy this method here. So we are done with this design and all. So we'll just write some logic here. So as we have created two property changed, we just need to map those things with the respect to bindable properties. And so whenever any numeric value got changed, so we just need to map that particular value to the specific control. So for that we are going to have this control read it in the backend as stepper control dot, and whatever the label name that we have there. So it's just copy there from here, dot text, and it would be the string which accepts to map it. So new value, that's it. So if I want to read this particular label or any control within that particular content view in my property changed, so this bindable object can be used to read that particular value, or else we can just assign that particular value. So whenever any change happens to that particular property, so this new value will be updated, so that the new value can be easily updated to this respective labels or any respective controls. So now here we are, so if I click on button minus, what it should happen? So we just need to have a condition where I just need to specify it should not be greater than sorry, it should not be less than 0. So it would be the default as 0. So it should not go beyond 0. If is numeric greater than 0, then is numeric minus equals to 1. So we are just decrementing one value, and in order to achieve this button, we want to have max value, right? So if numeric value, sorry, is numeric less than max value, is numeric, we are incrementing that value, plus equals to 1. So we are done with this control logic and all. So now we'll use this particular control in our application. So for that, I'm just going to create a small view model. So we'll just create a normal main view model. Before that, I'll just introduce a friendly package. Property changed body. This is one of the favorite control of mine, so I don't even bother about all the I notification, property change and all. So everything will be taken care by this. So I'm using implement property changed. So let's just resolve this. It got resolved. So I'm going to create two properties, public double. Let's treat it as age. Get and set. Public double maximum age. So here I'm just specifying the age maximum limit as, let's say for this example, I'm just taking 10. So we have created this, and now we'll use this particular control in our default XAML. So I'm just removing this. Local stepper control is numeric. So we have created this bindable property is numeric. So we are getting that particular thing here. So I'm just using binding, and that would be age. And we got maximum value as one more bindable property, where I'm just binding with maximum age, and horizontal options is equals to center, the vertical options is equals to center. That's it. And now we just need to specify the binding context for this. This dot binding context is equals to new main view model. So this is what the logic all. So I'll just repeat again. So we have created a content view. Within that content view, we just created one specific UI where I just want to have two buttons and one specific label in between those two buttons, and I have specified the images, and those two images are copied, added to respective platforms, and we have created an events. And within that particular stepper control, so we have created two bindable properties. One is numeric property and one is max value property. So we are using the same properties. So the max value property, oh sorry, simple thing which we missed, return. So we have created two bindable properties, and the respective events we have written here, and there are two properties which are specific for these bindable properties. So we are creating those two, and we created two property changed events. One is numerical value changed and the max value changed. Now let's just run this particular application. Sorry. So this particular setting is specific to property changed, nothing to do with this custom control. So let's start in running the application. So as of now, there is no specific default value has specified here. So you can see the count is getting incremented, and after 10 it is not getting incremented because the maximum value that we have specified is 10. So and it is not even coming down after 0. So let's make the default value also set, so that we can see even the value initially also. So this is how we can create a custom control in Xamarin Forms using bindable properties. So thank you so much, and please do subscribe for my channel, and if you have any queries related to any of the concept, you can just go to the discussion tab in my YouTube channel. Thank you once again.